Well. Oh, I didn't even check if chat worked. Oh well. Everything good. That doesn't need to be open. Alright. He's so cute. Okay. Now, I know what happens at this one, so this one will be... I could just go down the order, I guess. Boop. The family shopping trip had lasted most of the morning. And you still had to unload everything from the truck before you could enjoy your afternoon. You cradled another bag in your arms as you headed towards your house. It was one of the heavier bags from the grocery store, loaded with fresh apples, ripe tomatoes, a bunch of carrots, and half of a watermelon. Watermelon! Ma came out the front door and paused just ahead of you.
It's no trouble.
Need any help with that, Sophia? I can bring the rest of the way if you want me to. Yes, please, that would be helpful. Yes, please, it was just too heavy. No, I got this. You were doing fine. No, I got this. You could just manage to hold on. You eagerly agreed, nodding your head. I was just like, what? Stream elements. You needed someone else to take it. You didn't say anything. You could finish the job yourself, no problem. Kayla! Yes, please. Ma stepped forward to take the bag from your arms, and you made a quick run to get another bag. You passed Ma again on your way back to the house, and she gave you an encouraging grin and rustled her fingers through your white hair. I keep forgetting I have white hair. You set the next bag on the counter, your older sister beginning to root around inside for the contents with a sigh. How much is left? Still a few more bags. With a huff and a puff, she blew the house down. Elizabeth continued putting away the groceries, and you retreated out of the kitchen before you became a target to her bad mood.
Be careful.
Careful, Sophia. You hadn't been looking where you were going and bumped right into Mom, almost stepping on her toes to boot. Aw, sorry. I can give you a pass this time, but make sure to watch where you're going. If you run into the wrong person, you might get your license revoked. She grinned at the bad joke as you continued through the door. Outside, Ma started organizing what remained and put back any loose objects that had fallen out during the trip. I like the music in the game. When you stepped up to the trunk beside her, she took in a big breath of air, her dress gently swaying around in the breeze.
It's a shame.
We had to spend the morning cooped up in that shopping center. It was a beautiful day, don't you think? You tilt your head to the sky, gazing up at the clear blue expanse. Yeah, it is. Days like these are my favorite. It's too hot. I wish it would rain. Rain! I like it when it's stormy the best. I do like when it storms, though. You thought the past winter, remembering the nip of the cool air that would travel from the sea. It didn't snow in Sunset Bird, but being wrapped up in bed listening to the thunder and lightning give you a sense of peace. I'm impressed you can enjoy something like that. It's a good way to think. Hey Grim! How are you? You smiled at her, turning back to the trunk to help with the last of the bags. Oh, hi, Cove. Tired, yeah. Well, it is bad. Hey, it's 9/11. You notice Mom wave over at Cove. Shh, it's Cove. Don't tell, Daddy Caro, who just exited his front door, his surfboard propped up under one arm. Let me see. Surfboard and a wetsuit? Where might you be off to on this beautiful day? Look at this boy in a wetsuit. Cove instantly startled, having realized your family was also out here, even though your mom was the one who called out. You were the one he was looking at. Oh. He tried to settle down again. He jogged across the pavement to properly say hello to you and your parents. It was decidedly awkward since Cove had trouble figuring out how close to stand to you. Aww. The addition to his unwieldy surfboard made the whole thing seem even clumsier. Careful with that thing. You'll put someone's eye out. Mom chuckled and got a whisper reproach from Ma for it.
Pam!
Please, go easy on him. Cove winced. Sorry, Miss Layton. Don't mind her, honey. It's a beautiful day for surfing. I haven't been out on the waves in a long time. I'm jealous. Just go, Mom. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a few good waves before it gets dark. Oh, what is that? You stand on the board? Is it stand pedaling? Daro! Here's a wave. Hi, Cove. You seemed he had relaxed a lot when Ma spoke to him, but he came back as soon as you said something. Oh, this boy.
Hey.
Hi. Cove managed to grin. It almost felt like you had butterflies in your stomach. Do you want to come hang out there later? You noticed a flush of red on his cheeks, but that might have been just from the heat. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure, I'll meet you there when we're done. Oh yeah, I could do that. Alright, I can't this time. What happens if you just refuse all of these events? Sure. Cool. When he spoke again, he tried to contain some of the excitement that he was clearly ready to burst. It will be fun. You're not done unloading, right? Can I help?
No.
Okay, how about that? My computer was low battery. Oh no! Daddy's here! Run! This is our job. You enjoy the beach. I know. Also, boy. Sophia can catch up as soon as she's finished here. Alright, I'll see you. Yeah, bye for now. Cove headed down to the beach with more of a skip in his step than normal. It was really cute. You smiled softly to yourself as the thought that you've been joining him soon. Gonna lurk and sleep? Alright, get all the rest. Grim. Wolfie emotes when? When I get affiliate? I believe. None of that scandalous hand-holding. Oh. Holds my own hand. Joining him soon. He sure seemed to perk up after you agreed to meet him there later. I wonder why that could be. Let's get affiliate. What's the goal at? Oh. It's not very easy to see. Oh well. It's at 37.
Well, if that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here, wouldn't you say?
Thanks for the hose, Caro. I wonder why that could be. Ma? Now, who's giving him a hard time, Lanny?
Josh?
It's different. Mom's face broke into an incredulous grin.
Well, if that's the case, it was
In
rather
what
foolish
way?
for you to venture here, wouldn't you say?
Thanks for the host, Grim. Have a good rest.
Well, if that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here, wouldn't you say?
Thanks, Daro, for the host as well. All the hosts, yes. Glad my emotes worked because I switched them from Streamlabs to Elements. I'm being supportive. He can't hear it. Ma full on laughed at that.
Lonnie.
Well, if that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here,
Oh my gosh.
wouldn't you say?
Thanks for the host, Kalo. You are the worst of us when it comes to this. Honestly, I keep trying to warn people, but they won't listen. I only wanted to help, and I think it's fair to say that he might need it. Meddler, but you have a point, right? You narrowed your eyes at their teasing. They simply chuckled conspiratorially before taking more bags from the trunk and heading inside. Once everything had finally been taken in and put away, you got yourself ready to meet Cove at the beach. At the beach. You had a surfboard in your room that you wanted to take with you. Your family had a surfboard around here somewhere. You weren't sure what you were gonna do. He was surfing, and you didn't know how. Sure, I guess I live by the beach. I could guess I picked up surfboarding, even though I don't surfboard in real life. You practice... You practice your surfing more and more lately. It's always ready to go. After grabbing your board and getting everything ready, you headed down to the beach.
Have fun.
Honey, stay safe. Ah, nah, I'm gonna get eaten. Shh. I'm eating a boy. Don't talk. Tippy tips. Oh man. That doesn't show up very well either. Boys. Boy. When you arrive at the shore, you're greeted by a crash of the waves. And the soft calls the seagulls. The beach eagles! You took in a lungful of ocean air and felt your pale skin warm in the sun. Nah, I'm burning. You noticed a small set up nearby with a towel, some sunscreen, and a bottle of water. Tippy tips. Oh, did you tip? Oh, did it not work? How much did you? I can't calculate. I don't know how. But thank you, Caro, for donating. The bar went up, yeah. So it went through. I guess the alert didn't work. Darn it. I guess that's something I need to look into again. You noticed a small I read that. It must be coves. He spotted Cove himself nearby. He hadn't gone out to sea yet. He was just sitting in the sand at the water's edge, his board propped up beside him. Getting a tip on this on stream? Oh my god, Star. You strolled up to him, up beside him. Hey, I'm here. Sophia. He looked up at you with a smile, quickly hopped to his feet. It's great, yes. I was wondering if you're still coming. Would have missed it. Sorry you had to wait. Stay inside all day? I don't think so. Good. Shirt buttoned. You mean the wetsuit? I wouldn't have missed it. He chuckled shyly at your insistence. Okay. Oh, fudge. I'm gonna run out of water. Hippity hop, I'm coming for your property. I mean, hello. Oh no! Quickly! Grab the pillows and the fluff and run! He's coming! It's coming home. Hello, Angel. Then he casted his eyes out towards the waves. Cove, I'm not that good at surfing. I'm ready to get in there. Want a competition, or will you give me some tips? It is the flamingo. Ooh. Cove surfed more often than you did, so you knew he had some good tips. Good tips to help you improve. Yeah, let's get started. You tucked your board under your arm and the two of you ran into the water together. You paddled out to the sea where the good waves were. The water was cool against your skin.
It's nice.
Here you go. Whee! Not too calm, but nothing crazy. It looks perfect today. He smiled at you, and you couldn't help but smile back. You felt totally content. Until Cove kicked water a little too hard, and it adversely splashed you. Hey! Sorry, bitch. The apology didn't come across as especially repentant, as he was practically laughing as he said it. Splash him back, or let it go. Fucking hit the bitch. You laughed but waited for an opening for revenge. The second he looked away, you You kicked back, spraying him. Flashy.
Seriously?
Is that any way to treat someone who's trying to help? I came out here to teach you. I'm just following your example. Cove tried to keep a straight face, but ended up looking away. The water you flicked at him landed in shiny droplets in his hair. Then, here comes another lesson. He soaked you deliberately this time, using his full leg. An impressive curtain of water hit you in the face. Ha! You lost your balance scrambling to keep hold of the board, and you managed to stay on, but it was close. Cove winced. Are you okay? That wasn't what I was trying to do. I'm fine. But we should do the real teaching. Yeah. Fucking knock myself into the water. Bitch. Uno reverse card. He chuckled awkwardly and shook some water out of his ear. With that, Cove started to tell you all the tips and tricks how to stay on the surfboard. He demonstrated both good and bad posture, explaining where you need to put your weight. Like this? You wiggled your body so that you were more at the center of the board, and Cove nodded. Yep, just like that. The little lesson continued, and things clicked quickly, or it was going slowly, but you got it, kind of struggling. It was devastation. Sure. Let's just say I fucking get it. You may have not been entirely sure of yourself before, but that rapidly changing, you were definitely getting it. Occasionally he would reach out and touch you for more direct help getting the positions right. It felt nice. Go! My dad's here. If you acknowledge that you noticed his touch at all, he would instantly pull away. Since you spent so much time working on balance in stable water, you wondering if you could actually catch some waves. You brought it up to Cove and he nodded. If you think you're ready, go for it. You'll do great. Alright. With that, you graduated from Cove's class, and the two of you were able to surf together more casually, even if he was still better at it. What an afternoon! The setting sun was visible on the horizon. Every time you looked away, it sunk a little lower. The beach was darkening, but it was still pleasantly warm. You knew you should get out of the water before it became completely dark in the sea. Get out before the sharks! Nom 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 nom. You rode one last wave to get to the beach, then you picked up your surfboard and give it a quick once over. Oh shit. Goodbye, water. Cove followed behind you to the shore, putting his board and the other things, grabbing his towel and starting to dry off. He had ruffled his hair with the towel, and you watched the sun set together. The colors were beautiful in the distance, and the shadows around you deepened. There was no need for words, between you two, as the both enjoyed the sight for a moment. Cove broke the silence. The waves were good today, I think. Yeah, totally. I guess. Perfect for surfing. Do you really think so? He nodded mildly. You chatted a little more until the conversation truly died out. All you heard was the rhythmic sound of waves, and then Cove sighed. The day can't be over, not yet. He scowled into the distance as if the sun exiting the sky was a personal offense. Fuck you, son. Fight me. Do you think it should be longer? Yeah? It felt long enough? You only shrugged to express your feelings on the matter. Yeah, son. Stop giving him a green light. Yeah. Cove stood up straight and defend. It's 5 minutes of the approaching darkness. I'm not going home yet. I want to go somewhere. I don't know. Cove was still dripping in salt water, and you weren't sure what the alternative was. Wetsuits were fine for the beach, but not much else. It wasn't a good idea for him to lug his surfboard around town either. You'll be real cute in that wetsuit wherever you go. We need to call it a night. Yeah, I want to do something too. We are sure we'll be welcomed anywhere, soaking. Okay. I'm not doing anything. Co's face and ears flushed red. Okay, real quick. That's something for all to read. Okay. I love them. Cove's ears, blah 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 blah. Yes, he looks down and inspects himself. Grim! No! No! You fucker. Another stream. Oh my gosh. Inspect himself. He crossed his hands over his chest, self-conscious. Oh, I made the voice self-conscious. He was been so used to wearing it that Cove hadn't given his courage. Grim, you're making me die. Oh, man. Current choice of dress, any thought, at least before you pointed it out to him. Well, you two would too, so, Cove's eyes widened when he processed what he just said, awkwardly deciding to give up on the whole thing. He looked down the shore with wide, shining eyes. At least there's one place that's always okay to hang out, no matter what time, is the park. You nodded. The park was virtually always empty. Even Elizabeth only went over there nowadays if she was looking for you. Alright, night, Grim. How times have changed. She used to be so protective of that place. In fact, the only person there was a chance of running into might be that Jeremy kid. Jeremy. He brought up the idea to Cove and he cringed, but I'm still going. The sun's still there a little. I'm staying out as long as it is. Tagged along, or you went home. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Cove took a minute to put his stuff in order. He made sure. Let's see here. Ooh, what did you get for lunch? He made sure to get all of it, though it didn't take much care to shake off the sand. You dealt with your own things. You stuffed everything together, you took your time to pack your bags. I guess just... Ooh! We had chicken today. The two of you finished at about the same time. As finally touched, Cove plucked his glasses off the beach and put them on his face. He looked more like himself now. Who you bonkin'? He led the way down the beach to the park. It wasn't far, so it didn't take you long at all. The sun still hadn't completely disappeared just yet when you made your arrival. Cove stuck his surfboard upright in the sand and tossed his towel over it. By now, the two of you were mostly dry. The summer breeze on your skin kept you pleasantly warm. Cove idly went over to the monkey bars, grabbed them, feet flat on the ground, and pretended to go across. He definitely has grown in the past few years. You could barely use the monkey bars yourself. There wasn't much space at all between you and the ground. When you got to the middle bar, Cove pulled himself up through and sat on top of the bar. His legs dangled off the side of the bar he perched on. You joined him on the monkey bars, you stood nearby, or you took a seat on the swing. Join him on the monkey bars. Without Cove's height advantage, getting up was more difficult. But you made it. You climbed on the side of the monkey bars and pulled yourself up to the top. You settled yourself in between the two slants. Skinny metal wasn't the most comfortable thing to sit on, but you enjoyed the height it gave you. Guess what? What? Chicken butt? He smiled broadly and raised an eyebrow. My mom's yelling at Moltka. He's not here. Right. It was true. There wasn't a single sign of Jeremy. It looks like it was just going to be the two of you tonight. Cove hung his head and groaned dramatically. Your eyes widened when he whipped his head back up.
No way.
Oh. I can't believe how dumb my parents are for forcing you to come to this stupid place. You were taken back and blinked for a second before you realized he was quoting Jeremy. Haha, don't scare me like that. One Jeremy is enough. That's not nice. Funny, not nice. You don't have to tease him. Oh, my parents don't know anything. Code chuckled back at you, amused. You looked around the old park. Seriously cute, I'm in love. The old park and the streets you knew like the back of your hand and the beach were your stomping grounds. You wonder how Cove actually felt, how much his joke was just a joke, and how much was sincere dislike of this place. Moving had never been his choice. Do you actually like this neighborhood? I know you don't think it's dumb. You let the silence stretch between the two. Cove kicked his legs carelessly as they dangled. He smiled softly. I like it here. I really do. It's a nice place. He didn't hesitate. There was no uncertainty. That was his genuine opinion. Yeah, I like it too. Well, at least one person likes it here. You wordlessly nod. Of course, I'm here after all. You're the best thing. You're the best thing in this neighborhood, Cove. I could just continue flirting with this bitch. Cove flushed and he started to kick his legs wildly like he's running in place. It didn't take long for the day to finally draw to a close. The sun was gone and it was dark. You chatted a while longer, but it was definitely winding down. We better get home. I wish the days were longer. You choose to say nothing. Or anything. I wish this day was longer. He kicked his feet kicked out, making him look like a pouting child. Oh well. Cove sighed. It was time to go home. He hopped down from the monkey bars with a thud when his feet hit the ground. You clambered down the monkey bars yourself, and you lowered yourself more slowly than Cove, barely making a sound when your feet reached the ground. Cove grabbed a surfboard, threw his towel around his neck. With his water bottle in hand, he was ready. The both of you began your trek up the road. It was a quiet night, and you didn't run into anyone. In what felt like no time at all, you reached your street. As you walked, Cove smiled to himself. It was a soft expression. You couldn't help but wonder what put it there. Everything okay? I just remembered when we were younger. It used to be such a big deal to come home after dark. You could indeed recall. If you got sandy, your parents would say something. If you got wet, your parents would have more to say. If you came home after dark, well, your mom's and his dad would better have said it was okay beforehand. You used to get permission for everything. The small comment he made exposed how much freedom you really had this summer. Cove looked up into the sky, a smile still on his face as the two of you walked side by side, reminiscing. When you came to your houses, you turned to each other. Thanks for today. Bye. It was nice seeing you. It was definitely an interesting experience. Yep. Thanks for the awesome day. Cove waved, and you both turned around to your respective house. It was a pleasant end to the outing, you thought. Oh, that one kind of felt short. Okay. To the mall, I guess. Ooh, this is the first time we're here. Lee visited today. Turns out to be more involved than you expected. After overhearing where the Holton's family were going, Lee insisted on seeing Mr. Holton's shop firsthand. Here you go. shop. An hour later, Lee was busy looking at every item on display. Because Cove's dad offered supplies, lessons, tours, the shop had all the scuba-related stuff you could imagine: fins, masks, suits, and snorkels. After circling around the shop, you finally stopped and looked at the whole room. It was your first time being here too. It wasn't often you tagged along to hang out at the shop, or you spent a lot of time here over the years. I feel like it's probably not the first time. You preferred it that way. It meant like there was always something new to look at. Even if it was just a layout change. You were excited to come today, you were in good spirits, this was a pleasant surprise. You felt okay, not your first choice, but not bad. You were unhappy, was this really all you were gonna do? First, visiting the shop made for a fun afternoon. Just like the other day, Cove was telling you about the new wetsuits. And now you got to check them out. Lee was still busy poking through the various wetsuit displays, so you decided to see what Derek and Cove were doing. They were too absorbed in their conversation to notice you were standing near them. Leaning against the counter, you were able to pick up the topic quickly.
Anyway,
my dad told me the new stuff is selling like crazy. Yeah. The material of this new blend of less neoprene? My dad says people are really interested in it. It brought a smile to your face hearing the shop was doing well. You decided to keep listening, you decided to join the conversation, or you couldn't resist teasing the boys. What's on your shirt? What? What's wrong with this shirt? Sure. Those sweatsuits with the bright colors are probably popular too. I haven't seen many with that style in other places.
right?
Right? I like those ones.
Maybe.
Some of them might be too bright. I don't think the point of scuba diving is draw a lot of attention to yourself. Maybe people just like wearing them on the beach. Stands out, well, would help there. Your family could always spot you. Why can't you be more like the other boy? That's an upsetting decision to make. God. Cove smiled at Derek's positivity. But really, there's just so much to think about with a business. It's crazy. No matter how much I come, I still don't think I get it. Cove hummed and nodded in agreement because a good humor laugh from Derek. I thought you only liked scuba diving part, not the job part. That's the best part. I think about other things too.
I gotcha.
Cool. Business side, running it, that's my favorite. Out of the corner of your eye, you caught movement, and you realized Lee was now standing next to you. Look at Lee! She's so pretty. I love Lee. When your dads retire, do you guys think you're gonna carry on the store? Both sons shrugged in unison.
Well,
there's tons of things I could do. My dad thinks so too. He doesn't want me to plan on working here forever. Cove's gaze fell to the floor. You could see conflict flash across his face.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a lot, being a real boss of something and totally in charge. If my moms had their own business, I would take over. If my mom's had one, I wouldn't want to take over either. I can't run a business. I wouldn't want to take over someone else's shop. I want to do my own thing. Then, do you think your dad will let me take over this shop? Screw the boys, let me have the shop. No matter what you're up to, shop or no shop, you'll be amazing. Derek smiled in equal parts happiness and bashfulness. He bounced on his feet a bit. Thanks, Sophia. I'm happy you believe in us. Me too. Cove's parents left the back office and came over and catching your attention. Sorry, kids. It looks like it's going to be a long one. I know usually others hold the fort down, but I really need to stay here today. I know you just want a little visit. It's gonna be boring getting stuck all day because of me. Kyra can take my car and go back to the neighborhood. Cove and Derek gave him an understanding look. Mr. Holton crossed his arms and flashed you all a big smile, trying to lift the mood. The one condition is that someone has to remember to come back for me later. Nah, he can walk. You don't get stranded me here, no matter how funny that might be. Kyra laughed, giving a thumbs up. Mr. Fulton seemed satisfied with that. He moved on with the explanation. It's nice, Sean. Derek, your dad also has his hands full today, so he doesn't have time to run you back home. I can't find my dad and cat. Which cat?
It's okay.
That's alright, sir. The title, sir, got an awkward chuckle out of Raymond. Which was cut short when Kyra elbowed him teasingly.
What do you think?
You already said I could borrow the car. Why don't I take all the kids somewhere fun for the afternoon? He sent you on a wild goose chase so he could run away.
Absolutely.
That's fine with me. Just please come back eventually, sometime today. Kyra. After multiple jokes of being left with no ride, you had wonder if it actually happened in their past together. For you, my good sir, I swear across my heart. Happy with the promise, Cliff took out his black wallet and offered $50 to Kyra. Here, in case you need gas or anything else while you're out. Kyra seemed knowing, accepted the bill without hesitation.
Thank you.
Kovzad stuck the wallet into his back pocket while he waved with the free hand. Okay, time for me to jump back into work. Have fun for me. Bye, Dad. Bye. Bye, sir.
Bye.
I forgot Lee was here for a moment. Found Tim Fishgiven unrestored. You have found your honor. Congrats. Goodbye, sirs and madams. He left the room with a wink and a flare, disappearing into the employees-only area of the shop. With Mr. Holton out of sight, Kyra silently strolled over to the counter and carefully placed the 50 bill there. She turned back around and beamed a large smile at you and the others. Come on, Gain. Let's see if this town has a mall.
Yeah!
Yes! Unable to contain her excitement, Lee was actually jumping for joy, while Cove and Derek just grinned. There wasn't a mall in your hometown, but Mr. Holton's store wasn't in Sunsetford. It might actually possibly find a mall out here. You felt pumped, you were okay with that, you really didn't want to go. Yeah, sure, let's go to the mall. I used to go to the mall by my grandparents' house all the time. We'd go stare at puppies. I don't know what the fuck we used to do. Heck yeah. Let's go. She quickly herded the group out of the store and into the car.
Cove.
As the driver, I choose my partner in crime. Naturally, I bestow the position of shotgun to my baby. Her comment had both Derek and Lee snickering. Cove was for sure embarrassed over the phrasing and blatant favoritism, but he took the seat by his mom without complaint. But you decided to stick up for Cove, you decided to jokingly complain about the special treatment, you were fine with it, you kept quiet. I didn't mean to do that. You got shotgun in your own car a lot. It made sense he got priority here. I'll take the middle seat. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want the window seat. You can too have it. Are you cool with that? You thought it was odd that anyone would give up the window seat, but you knew Derek was trying especially to be polite when he was a guest. You nodded.
Fantastic.
Good. It sounds like we're all in agreement. Everyone squeezed into the car, buckling in, and Kyra turned the radio on and she set it to the top 40s pop station. You were into it, you did not like it, you asked if the radio could be changed. You recognized the song playing. It was the new one by the artist that you were listening to a lot recently. Ba, 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 ba. It wasn't long until your group realized that they were lost. After driving in enough circles, Kyra struggled paid off when she found the local mall. There were more cheers from Lee as Kyra pulled into a parking spot. America! Yo! Friday! I don't see any others. Once the groom had made it inside, the first order of business on this trip was checking what this mall actually had. Where should we go? I think I see a makeup store ahead. She rolled up on her tippy toes to get a better view while Derek was eyeing the directory. There's a chocolate shop. Seriously, we have to go. Chocolate? Yes, wait. We need to find some decent jewelry shop. I need a new hair ties and barrettes.
Nice.
Fucking hell. Well, we gotta at least look for the game store. There's tons of things you can't get anywhere but the store that's just for video games. Hey, what are you thinking, Cove? I want to look at fish in the pet store. You could guess that much. Anywhere else? He smiled with some bashfulness. Can we go camping in the outdoor supply shop?
So...
What about you? Look at all the shit! Look at the pet store. Bookstore! You would lose me. You would lose me. You would lose me. Pet store? Video game store. Bookstore. Bookstore. You would lose your... You would lose my wallet. Yeah, we all know how the both of us went with bookstores, so... How many stores do you think I could hit? You went into 10 for 5. That's certainly a list. Good thing we have all afternoon. Shh. Yeah. I have my own stores I want to make. Let's agree to regroup at 7.
What?
You're not coming with us? We're all in the same building. You won't be alone as you think. I'll only be a few minutes away. You're old enough to enjoy the mall without me hovering. Okay.
See you soon.
Back here at 7. Toodaloo. Derek and Lee, stunned by their newfound freedom, and Kyra walked off. When she's almost out of sight, Derek's face twists in confusion. Wow. She really gone. I can't believe she just did that. This is cool. We get to do whatever we want. You're happy about it. Talk about an amazing opportunity. You felt unsure. Was that really okay? You felt okay about the situation. You were unhappy. Fucking hell. If you're like whatever that age and then your parents like, yeah, go ahead, go do whatever you want, you're like, fuck yeah. The decision was already made. Derek tried to pull together his earlier enthusiasm for the trip. So, where are we going first? Time's not wasting. Whatever closest. Things were coming together, but you realized there might be a flaw in today's sudden plans. What's wrong? Did anyone bring money with them?
Yeah.
I did. I always have some on me when I come all the way out here. You had money too? You left all your money at home. The original plan was to only visit Mr. Colton's store. You didn't have money at all, since you always end up spending it whenever you got. Sure! I would not have any money, or whatever, because half the time I'm like... live the money. I think the only time I really carried around money was college. I'm back at the keyboard. Keyboards for snappers. We were behaving. We're totally not alone in a mall. Immediately, blah 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 blah. You felt better about the situation. It would have been a downer not being able to think of something at the mall because you didn't have money. I'm good. I wasn't misbehaved. Now everything was squared away. You explored the mall together as a group. There were many shops that you managed to venture into so far. You all even went into the pet store, leaving you with a pep in your step. This was better than you thought. There was still so much to see. After hitting many type produce stores, you found yourself passing by a small booth. It was decorated in wind chimes of various sizes. You raised your hand up to one of the smaller ones. No, my weakness, wind chimes. What sparked your attention next was Cove. You thought for sure he was going to stop at the booth by the way he was looking at it, but he kept going. Do you want one? It wasn't until Lee asked that you realized you had stopped in front of the booth without saying anything. Lee just continued to encourage you. You should get one. I'm just looking, I don't like them. You want one, but for someone else. Ooh. They caught your attention, though, but it's because it might make a nice gift. You wondered if Lee was planning on becoming a wind chime salesperson, but the fake she kept pushing it. I like this. I have one like this one at home. It makes the prettiest sound. Fishing out your money, you made a decision on what to buy. You got one for yourself and you got one for Cove. Shh. Can I get these two, please? Now why would you need two wind chimes? Shh, Lee. Lee. Gotta be my wing woman. You rolled her eyes at her teasing tone, but you couldn't help and hide the smile growing on your face as Lee broke into laughter. The shopkeeper carefully wrapped your purchase up and handed it back to you. You accepted and then raced off with Lee to catch up to the boys. For Cove, you picked out a beautiful wind chime that had a dolphin charm, was simple, signed with silver poles, had crystal strands. Dolphin. Courting! Shh! This boy's mine. You had a feeling that he appreciated it. After leaving another clothing store, the one that Lee couldn't resist exploring, you and your friends found yourself walking down the main hall of the mall again. Oops, I keep dropping my water. It wasn't long until everyone you were with had their eyes on the smoothie kiosk ahead. Should we stop? Yeah. As you approached, your eyes were drawn to the dazzling list of smoothie combination. A part of you wondered how long it would take to try them all. Hey there. Do you need the rundown of how this works? I was trying to do a robot voice, but then didn't feel like it. Yes, please. Okay. First off, you need to pick up to 3 options of fruit or berries, and then add ice and the store's special smoothie base mix, and then you had your very own smoothie for $4. There's only one size. Cove leaned over the counter a bit. For several moments, he intently studied the plentiful fruit and berry options. I want to get a strawberry banana smoothie with coconut. Not coconut. Sounds good. Is there anyone else getting something? Can I get one that's just all mango? Of course.
Thanks.
I like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries for mine. Thanks. Shopkeeper looked at you now. You didn't want one? Hell yeah, I want a smoothie. Could I get Okay, we have banana, coconut, pineapple, mango, kiwi, peach, orange, apple, blueberry, strawberry, and raspberries. Fuck yeah, banana! If we're going with the smoothie that I always eat or drink in the morning, it would have strawberries and blueberries in it. Strawberry. What if I throw a peach in? I want Jamba Juice now! Peach! That's everything. At that, everyone went ahead and paid for their individual drinks. You waited over the other side of the booth where the drinks were put when they're done. Derek bounced on his feet, excited for his to be ready.
Aww.
This is gonna be so good! Lee chimed in her own enthusiasm. Everyone says their smoothie-based stuff can make any drink great. Cove, while quieter, looked as eager for his smoothie. Luckily, there hadn't been anyone else before you, so it wasn't a long wait. Your group collected the fresh drinks as they were placed on the counter. Straws were placed through the opening of the top of the cup, and first attentive sips were had. Derek sighed in satisfaction after his taste. Mango's too delicious. Mine's super good too. Cove nodded and hummed and agreed. His straw was still in his mouth. You were happy with yours, you regretted your choice, you thought it was only okay, you thought it wasn't as great as you expected when you picked. Yeah, sure, I'm fine with mine. This is perfect. Cool, we all made excellent choices today. Yeah. You asked if you could try Lee's smoothie, you asked if you could try Derek's smoothie, you asked if you could try Cove's. You wanted to steal a sip of... Sneakily, you wanted to steal the soup of someone else's smoothie. You didn't pay much attention. This would be cute, but then it's just like... Shh. Cove. Cove, can I have a drink of yours? At that, Cove accidentally inhaled what he was drinking. This boy. I keep picking on this boy. His face was burning red from embarrassment and then coughed. That shook him. The indirect kiss! Gotta have it for every step. Dude, are you okay? Derek gave Cove a few pats on the back as his hacking only started to slow. I bet it ended up going in the wrong way. It sucks when that happens. Did Derek not hear what the fuck I just said? Lee elbowed you teasingly. The moment she got your attention, he started laughing, gesturing between you and Cove. Moments later, Cove, finally able to breathe normally, he wiped his mouth with his free hand. His gaze locked on the floor as he nervously started chewing on his straw. You could tell he was torn. It didn't seem like he wanted to say no, but he couldn't bring himself to say yes either. Derek couldn't watch the scene anymore, drinking his own smoothie. He pretended to be fascinated by the display in the store. I made this boy too nervous. Oh my god, my cheeks hurt from smiling. For the display in the store, your group was passing by. Lee hadn't stopped looking over at you two. She could tell she was living for every bit of the situation. Cove's unhappy stare went from Lee to Derek while still shyly sipping on his smoothie, and you wondered if he was trying to will them to intervene. Feeling his stare, Derek peeked back towards Cove, his only response offering the understanding sigh. You decide to let it go. You're teasing him or reassure him. I'll let it go. It's okay, Cove. I don't need to try yours. He stared at you, still conflicted still. A few heartbeats later, the tension eased on his face. He sighed.
Sorry.
No worries, we're cool. He nodded. He couldn't meet your eyes. You were satisfied with that, or you wanted... Okay, let's see what happens when I do this. Fucking come here, Lee. While Lee was talking, you stepped in closer, leaning down to steal a sip. Without question, Lee continued to hold her cup for you. She also bent her head to reach for your own straw. Yes. What are you two doing? Several more sips later, between both you and Lee stood up straight, holding your own smoothies. Lee, yes. I was trying Lee's smoothie. And I was trying yes. Oh, my cheeks. Derek grinned in confusion. And Lee was just amused by the reaction. It's in the handbook. We're family. And that was that. You were satisfied with that secondhand kissing. It's only an indirect kiss if you want it to be. As your group continued to wander the mall, you came to an area where... Oh shit. You didn't see it yet. You came to an area in the path that was wider. Haha. In the center of the opening was a collection of quarter-operated ride-on machine, and Derek stopped as soon as he saw them, smiling ear to ear. I want to ride. Hell yeah. I think we might be too big.
No way.
No. We're not that old yet. He eagerly headed over to the machine, wanting to get a better look, and Lee went along with it, smiling. You thought that his idea was childless. You wanted to ride too. You didn't care one way or another, or you stayed quiet. Fucking get me out of that shit. You quickly chased after Derek, and he turned his head back at the sound of your footsteps, giving you a thumbs up over his shoulder. Reconventing around Derek, you watched as he was focused on various brightly colored rides. Most were designed to look like real vehicles, but there were also some horse-shaped ones. Horsies! One of them could even sit two people. Lee leaned in close to you and whispered playfully while pointing directly at the solo machine made for repair. You should ride that one with Cone. You agreed. She was onto something there. You rolled your eyes. You disagreed. It was too crazy. You felt unsure. You didn't reply to her. Fuck yeah! That might be fun. I call the helicopter. Why?
Cool.
It's the coolest, and I think it moves the most. started digging in his pockets, pulling out whatever money he had left. Wait. Is everything okay? I need 4 quarters, right? Yeah. I only have 2! There has to be much more between all of us. Hold on. Pockets, wallets, and purses were checked over. Derek still had 2, Cove only had 1. Lee ended up with the most at 3. You didn't have any. Well, fuck.
Don't worry about it.
You can have mine. Thanks. But you don't have to. It's not enough for me. Even if there was, it'd be dumb to ride while you just watched. Cove shrugged. He tried and failed, looking unsure what to do next. Why don't we all get on one ride? We could exchange dollar bills for more quarters at a store. You didn't offer a suggestion. Derek, I'm the one holding the brain cell again. Derek slapped a hand to his cheek, eyes wide. Oh yeah, that'll work. Let's do it. The group scattered to various shops around. When you shortly convened at the rides, everyone had more than enough quarters. There are no wiping a smile off your face. Despite the little hiccup initially, the plan was to hitch a ride was coming together. Let's get this over with. We do have the coins.
Okay.
Cheer up, man. It's gonna be good. Oh, God. Yeah. There was enough machines for everyone to claim one for themselves. Derek got his convert or whatever helicopter. Lee was happily on the horse. Cove waited to choose last. He didn't seem he wanted to take a ride from someone else what they wanted. He cared so little about it. You picked the horse too. The one with the motorcycle that looked like a motorcycle, the single seat car, the double car by yourself, or the double car and you brought Cove. Come here, Cove. Cove, you can sit with me. He gave a bent smile and put a hand on his hip. When he saw the ride, he pointed out.
I don't know.
Do you really want to try fitting me in that? You might actually be comfortable if you use it by yourself. Nah. It doesn't matter. I want to ride with you. Alright. Lee winked at the two of you from her pony as you squished next to one another in the child-sized seats. Oh. I don't know why this just made me think of like those grocery stores that would have those grocery carts that were like shaped as like little cars that like the children would like sit in the front, and then it would just be like a grocery cart like on the top. I always wanted to get in those, but my mom was just like, no. And I'm like, darn. Looks were exchanged across the way as you each popped in the corners at the same time, the little ride stuttering to life. As the machines began to move up and down, side to side, Lee and Derek couldn't contain their laughter. Derek started waving from the window of the helicopter. Lee tried to reach out to see if she could touch anyone as their machines jolted closer to hers. Cove, on the other hand, was gripping the side of the car. He was really struggling to remain in the seat, looking very uncomfortable. Oh, this poor man. You were quickly regretting your decision of doing this. You waved back. You stretched over trying to grab Lee's hand. You tried to encourage Cove. You personally just sat quietly in your ride. I wanna kinda do both of these. Fucking grab Lee's hand. You grinned, you leaned forward, and reached as far as you could. For a moment, a shot of panic went through you as you thought you were about to tumble off the ride, but you hung on with your free hand, balancing yourself. Be careful! I'm trying! Your rides were syncing up in the moment. Almost there, your efforts were rewarded as you caught her of her hand. You did it! Yeah! It was a battle to keep it together as the rides went backwards. The two of you almost actually pulled off your seats by the other, but it made it more fun. As soon as all the rides came to a stop, the group dismounted, and Derek looked absolutely pleased for the conclusion of this pit stop. You notice something out of the corner of your eye. You tilt your head to look directly at it, and you burst into laughter. What's funny? You turned back to your group and nodded in the direction where you were looking. Isn't that one of those machines that takes dollars and gives quarters back? The kind that exists for people who don't have quarters on hand? Everyone's heads moved away and saw you were right. Derek chuckled awkwardly. That's exactly what that is.
Oh.
We're kinda dumb. We have to miss that the whole time. Come on, let's put this behind us. There's still places open we haven't been.
Totally.
You're here. We fucking idiots. You moved along from one stop to the next. What's your next? Still jovial? What the fuck is that word? From the experience. Shortly your walk, Lee ran over to a nearby trash can and tossed her smoothie cup. Derek went after her and threw his cup away. You followed suit, getting rid of your empty cup too. Joe BL. It's like you. Okay. Thanks, Kayla. You followed suit, getting rid of your empty cup too. Cove made his way over to the trash can, but he didn't toss his cup. Hey, Sophia. Yeah? Cove held his cup out to you, and you looked at him quizzically.
I mean...
Back it up, boy! You can finish it if you want. It's a little melty, but it's still good. You don't want to zoom in, Kara? Look at all those unbuttons. He couldn't quite meet your gaze. You were pretty sure that you could see his cheeks turning pink. Leaving Cove to his embarrassment, you noticed that he had a little left enough to have a good taste. Sharing the cup, yuck! What's what that look like? You noticed there was enough to have a good taste. There was no stopping the large smile from growing on your face. You didn't forget about it. Your antics earlier, and you made peace with the fact that you were going to get any of his drink. You figured it was easier to give it away since he didn't have any plans to drink any more of it now. Thanks, Gove. You took the cup with both hands. The last of the smoothie was very sweet, and it seemed fitting. Pretty good, huh? Very good. You threw the cup out with the rest inside, content. The clock inched closer to 7 as you all made your way back to the directory. It was hard to believe how fast the day went by.
So...
Where do you think your mom ended up today? We didn't see her anywhere. I don't know. She's just like that. That was very sus of you. Oh. Ooh, it's a mystery. Despite vanishing for the entire trip so far, when 7 p.m. hit, you spotted Kyra coming right over, waving cheerfully. As soon as she was close enough, she pinched Gove's cheeks.
Hey, yeah.
Hey babies, hi friend. Hey babies. Hey baby, hi friend. Hi mom. He pushed her hand away with one hand, rubbing his cheeks with the other. Did you have a good day, gang? Yeah. Today was awesome. We did so much.
Not bad.
It was fun. You really enjoyed your day. You thought there were ways it could have been worse. You didn't enjoy the outing. What the fuck? You enjoyed it. There was no hiding your joy. Like the others, you were smiling ear to ear because today went so much better than you had expected. I'm glad we came here.
That I do.
I wanted to hear all about it during the ride back. She clapped her hands together once, made sure that she had everyone's undivided attention. Speaking of that, we better head out. Cliff must be missing us. You gotta be starving. It's dinner time and you haven't eaten yet. Everyone followed her lead and started walking out the door to the parking lot. Something about what Kyra said felt off to you. There were tons of places to eat in the mall. You could have had dinner. You wondered if it was just a good guess, but you could feel your eyebrows raise when it dawned on you. She might have been keeping an eye on you after all. You weren't pleased about that. She didn't have to lie. That was pretty slick. You weren't sure about that. It seemed kind of sketchy. If she hadn't made that comment, you would never known. You found it hard not to be impressed. Not once you could recall even catching a glimpse of her hanging around, though. Now that you think of it, not seeing her was suspicious in itself. Shaking off your thoughts, you caught up with the others. Keeping the same seating arrangement as earlier, you all piled into the car instead of heading back to the store. The drive went by without any problems, as it filled with clatter about the various things everyone saw around the mall. Soon enough, you arrived at your destination. It was a much faster trip, considering this time. Kyra knew where she was going. Hearing the light jingle of bells from the front door being opened, Cliff poked his head out of the back and lit up, seeing who was here. Here you go, the family of 3. Ooh, my notes. Hey, sport. Did everyone have an adventure? Hi, Dad. We had a blast! Yes! We found the mall.
Aw.
The mall? I wish I could have joined. He deflated in an exaggerated way. His shoulders slooped. Kyra put a hand on his arm and smiled.
Any hoosies.
There will be other times. Are you set here? Almost. Mr. Holton sighed for real and then pulled himself up, standing straight.
Do you mind?
I need just a little more time to finish up. Will you be alright killing time a bit longer? It's okay. Yes, sir. No problem, Mr. Holton.
Sure.
We can have fun here. Excellent. What a great group of kids. We ain't kids. We teens. Oh. He gave. He gave an approving thumbs up as Kyra nodded along. I'll give you a hand. I remember the ropes. Why, thank you. They walked side by side to the back room. Before he was out of sight, Cliff stopped and looked over his shoulder. If you leave the shop, don't go far. It's getting late. And the parents were gone again. Let's go to the docks. They're right down the way. Yeah. Oh, I saw those on the way here. I really wanted to check it out. Are you coming? Alright. With a smile, Cove showed the way. To the docks! Between the warm summer air and the smell of the ocean, you couldn't ask for a better night.
Thanks.
Thanks for letting me come. Me too.
Right?
I'm happy we did this. Today was great. Cove, your mom and dad are really cool. Really? Totally. Cove looked at Lee oddly. He ran a hand through his hair and then puzzled expression cracked with a chuckle.
I guess.
Guess sometimes they are. You continued walking. Every so often you would look up at the sky, seeing several stars poke out between the clouds. Someone would have to watch me because I have fallen off docks and boats before. Just do out into the water. Seeing several stars poke out. At one point you noticed that Cove stopped while Lee and Derek kept going. Ahead, busy chatting. Initially you wondered if something was wrong, but you noticed that he still looks to be in good spirits. You decided to hang back with Cove. He gave you a quick acknowledging look when you stopped by his side. Oh no, Daddy's ready. You could taste the sea salt as you took in a deep breath of the ocean air. Silently, you and Cove watched the ocean for a little bit. There was something about the waves that you found soothing. You couldn't think of a better way to end your busy day. And then it hit you. The wind chime! It was a perfect moment. You dug up the wrapped package out of your bag. Hey, Cove. He barely replied and said he was focused mostly on lazily watching the sea. The paper wrapping crinkled as you pushed the package forward, trying to make him realize. He finally caught sight of it. His eyebrows raised up high, gingerly. Cove accepted the gift. Just seeing the present brought a smile to Cove's face. Look at the fishy boy! Oh. I'm just looking respectfully. It's a team. Wait, I gotta wait. He carefully opened it and his whole body brightened as he recognized the chime.
Oh my god.
I'm looking disrespectfully. You talked about how he seemed wanting it. You suggested the chime simply made you think of him. You explained that Cove had given you gifts and you wanted to get him something for Sure, Miller. You didn't know what to say. I thought it'd suit you, so I got it. Really? Cove smiled, seems to grow even bigger, and his blush deepened. He looked sincerely happy. You're just... He wasn't able to find words to finish his thought. And then Cove started to get shy over his bashfulness and put a hand up over his mouth. You were so happy that buying the wind chime was the right call. I'll take such good care of it. Thank you. You're welcome. Let me know where you end up putting it. It'll be helpful to know. Woo. You took your own wrapped wind chime out of your bag and held it up, drawing a chuckle from him. Okay, we'll match that way. Ooh, we got matching wind chimes. Yeah. Not much later, Derek's chipper voice caught your attention and you and Cove turned your gaze down the pier. What are you doing, slowpokes? Get over here.
Hey!
Come on. You looked at Cove at the same time he looked at you. You grinned and nodded your head in the direction of your friends. He gave you a small smile in return. Your footsteps echoed against the wooden planks of the dock into the night as you ran to catch up. Aww. Throwing, and then I will... Actually, I don't know how many. Oh. We'll see. We'll see how fast these are. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room of your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioning was cranked up as far as you can negotiate it, but everyone was still pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were lounging while the TV blared in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of the chair draped over the coffee table. So, lying here, or on here. I would be on the back of the couch instead. It's like, just toss me. Trash can. I don't do well in heat. I'm fine in heat, I guess. I don't know. Usually I sit on the floor. You looked out the window at the backyard. Not that there was anything to particularly interest to watch. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over and she was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand.
Ugh.
I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house. My legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she was barely flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them now? Somehow. Elizabeth thrilled briefly and then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder, pathetically. Sympathetic. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed as she didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over to leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have her home of her own, maybe even with a nice husband or some kids, if she feels like it. She sniffed loudly, wiping her eye. Oh, it brings such a tear to your mother's eye. But you could tell. Now my daughter's over you, no! You could tell that it was just a bit. Hi. Gibbons. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. Her nickname is Kia? Yeah. Okay. She only seemed... How are you? She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Ma must agree with you, because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate, she's still practically a child. But even if you do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Definitely. We're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contort in disgust.
No.
No way! I'm not talking to my moms about that. Ma's dropped. She gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest on her against her chest. Ma only cringed. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can listen. Anyway. Oh, so I think Mom is lesbian and then Ma is bi? Mom snorted at her own joke while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the lesbians. I thought they were Americans. You know, Kayla? Feeling amused because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the two steps at a time. Oh, I used to do that all the time. Your moms stared after her and then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Disappear. Whoops. Looks like we scared her off with all the romance talk.
Well?
Oh well, we'll get her next time. You watched them teeter with some surprise. Obviously your mom's like woman, But you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. It was your first time that you heard her say something like that. Huh? I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you had spoken up. She smiled and nodded. Big friend. That's right, I'd like both. Well, dear, how do you think you were conceived? But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Ma smile turned all soft in the corners like the stork brought her, of course. All soft at the corners like it usually did when she looked at her, and then she pinched Ma's cheek slightly. Mom reached up to cup a hand over Ma's. Even though when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands just remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Aww.
My parents are flirting in front of me. Aww, animal. Ma beamed and then kissed Mom on the cheek that she had been pitching before. You laughed at their antics, you thought the moment was very sweet, you cringed. Parents were embarrassing. Oh. If my parents did it, yeah. Toasties finally stopped. Oh. He's freaking out over the Christmas tree and decorations. Oh. Oh no, it's little Toasty. Leave the Christmas tree alone. Oh, I'm not looking forward to putting our Christmas tree up. I'm fine with the tree, putting all that up. It's the fact that I have to carry a couch up the stairs because we have to make room for our giant-ass tree. It's going to be a pain in my ass. No matter how often your mom... You smiled to yourself at the sight. No matter how often your moms expressed their feelings for each other, it was always nice to witness. Ma looked back at you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you and Ma followed soon after. You know, I'm always here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think the talk might needed to be sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Ma shook her head and elbowed Ma. It was futile. Meddler. You blushed fiercely. You elbowed her. Ma! I don't have anyone. Well, that's true. Shh. Ma giggled and smiled, no doubt pleased that you admitted it so readily. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure that out. What or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life is nice like that. You can change and you can learn. Nah, Cove's mine. Ma nodded at her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out. We may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma a weak... sarcastic? Sarcastic? Look, possibility, what the fuck? While being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. You nodded silent, you shrugged. You don't have to worry about that. I'd rather pass. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good, that's all we asked for. Ma let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth, and now you, Sophia. Do you have to grow up? Yes. Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room, too. They let you go without a problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was a little sweltering in there than it was in the living room, possibly a little warmer. You couldn't open your window since it was hotter outside and you would just be letting the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering conditions in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared at it. You turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing all right. It was weird thinking, is bullying her doggo? Oh no! It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you were when you were younger. When it came to your body, it was getting some muscle definition nowadays, was chubby, was slender, was heavyset, was sort of scrawny. I'm skinny. You shifted to your side. Your head was still facing forward as you continued the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. At birth, you were assigned female and at birth you were assigned male and, or you were born intersex and I was born female. Your chest was flat. Now, that would likely change at least a little as you got older. You were starting to develop breasts. You already had noticeable boobs. You aimed to not have breasts through hormone therapy. I don't have big boobs. Standing sideways, it was easier to notice a slight Stop growing up so fast! It was easier to notice a slight increase in that area. You reached over and massaged your scar with one hand, staring intently at the mirror. By now, you knew that it was there to stay. You took a step back, finished with your improv inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered, you thought you looked fantastic. You didn't look too bad. You had no idea how to feel. You were simply neutral. You were self-conscious. You wanted to look different than you did. I look fantastic! You beamed, pleased with what you saw. You even winked for a good measure before chuckling at yourself. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things, and you had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing on the mattress, your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly. To your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it's been, but eventually you heard your mom's call you from downstairs. Sophia! Oh shit. There's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the words. Sitting up in your bed, you yelled back to her immediately. Yeah! You got to your feet, heading downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyways, because your Your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Bullshit. That's a lie. My stomach doesn't tell me when I'm hungry. I forget. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue, clear disapproval for Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He just can be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know. He's very sweet. That's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Sophia on behaving badly, I think we can both agree that she'd do the right thing in the end. But if it's Cove Holton got into a reckless mood and wants Sophia to be part of the ride, we can be certain that what call she'll make then. Not wanting to cause trouble. Don't say my daughter. Plenty of trouble.
Yes.
Yes, we can, Emma. Sophia would do whatever Cove wants. It's funny because they fucking know. They're like, oh, Cove's doing this. We're fucking going too.
Lonnie.
Your mom giggled freely at your mom's reaction. You worry too much about those two together. Look, all I'm saying is I haven't forgotten the time where they were kids and they tried to run away together. Oh no. They're not letting us live that down. Ma laughed and she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise and then waved at you with an easy grin. Ma looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Sophia. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. You pretend that you didn't overhear their conversation. You called Mom out on her comment. We're just gonna eat. Yeah, it's okay. I just got here. From the way... Well, if I hadn't come now, I would have heard everything you just said. You said.
Pam.
Okay.
Pam.
Oh, you got caught.
What?
Like, you're saying things too. I didn't say anything that I wouldn't have told Sophia directly. Oh, you're unbelievable. You shook your head at your parents, even as you fought a blush when you remembered what they had been discussing. Alright, you got me. I'm sorry for being gossipy and saying that about your friend. I can be bad too.
Let's go.
He'll get out of your way now. Mom sighed in defeat and made her way down the hall. Mom followed after with a hushed giggle. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot out, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter, settling in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock at the door a few minutes later. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside, letting him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did, with a wave, a low high five, a nudge on the shoulder, a noogie, or with a hug. He stiffened in your arms and then relaxed after. One would think he would get used to your hugs after all these years. Hey. At this point, it's just fun watching Karo just respond to the shit I do. His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You feel worried about that. It's about how he usually reacts when you come close by. Cove sighed, wiping at his face a bit, you notice the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must have been glad to come back in air-conditioning place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get there. What's going on? Why did you want to come over? I don't want to do anything, not like when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around.
So,
I thought I could do nothing, at least do nothing with you. Oh, he thought it was really sweet. How did you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans. You nodded. That made sense. Like we're thinking the same thing. Oh, sweet. His words were nice, expressive, real fondness for you, in a strange sort of way, which was usual the case with Cove. Have you had lunch yet? I was going to do it soon. He shook his head.
not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get like that sometimes. You really should eat properly. If you didn't eat at all, then you gotta have something now. Great, we can eat lunch together. Cove nodded, looking content at your suggestion. Okay, cool. As one, you headed to the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you can scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cool or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit back and forth, you two concluded that you should raid the fridge and the cabinet in order to make a sandwich. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layer first. There was a wide variety to choose from since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets.
Hey,
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains and then made your decision. A lettuce bread. Cinnamon bread. I would just eat that by itself. I only started eating, at least not white bread from Caro and everyone. You wanted mixed grains as well, so you just set that on the counter. Then you decided what the main direction of the sandwich would go in. Chip. I don't know. No. My indecisiveness is coming in. Something savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients, ham slices, turkey, tofu, hummus, egg, salad, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumber, avocado, peppers, pickles, cheddar cheese, pepper jack cheese, or mozzarella. Lettuce. You moved down to condiment. Hey! Where did my cucumbers go? Cucumbers. Lettuce. Why did that disappear? Turkey? I don't know. For the finishing touches, you topped your sandwich with... Why is there nothing? Why can't I choose nothing? Why do you guys have to Shit, I don't know, salt and pepper. That was everything. Get the fuck out of here. I just want to have my sad sandwich. You nodded to yourself as with a quiet hum satisfied. The two of you rustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything that you need for your individual sandwiches. You were focused intently on assembling your own for the most part. When you were close to being done, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There was an open jar of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he was making a peanut butter banana honey sandwich with mixed grain bread. This sounded great. You didn't like it? It seemed weird. Banana. Maybe you have one yourself at a different time. Curious and satisfied, you turned back to your plate, finished with your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation, and he turned to you, studying your sandwich briefly. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. You guessed it didn't look inedible to him, at least. Imagine if I just had all the ingredients on it. It just looked like a Scooby-Doo sandwich. Done. Yeah.
Cool.
He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients, cleaned up a few utensils, and then the two of you collected your respectable plates, and the both of you agreed to head upstairs and hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom, balancing your food on the plate. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor, in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. Water. He immediately took a big bite of the sandwich, chewed, and then hummed happily. This sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down, starting your own sandwich. It turned out not as expected. You shrugged, it was okay, or you nodded, you enjoyed yours. Sure. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches, of course. He leaned back on his hand while chewing, glancing around. His every movement was sluggish. Wanna do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything had already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Yeah. Like what? Maybe. Not really. You couldn't muster a reply. Like what? He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? I can think of Kalo, for 13. Keep it. Later. You laughed at the suggestion and went along. Yeah. Neither of you had much energy to do anything more taxing. You grudged. You thought it was a nice idea. Sure. You put your plate to the side, pulling out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand, while keeping half of the slice of the sandwich in his left.
That's,
Can I pick the phrase? Sure, I don't mind. Hanky-panky in the bedroom, Missy. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper, beginning to sketch out the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pursing his lips together in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on a piece of paper to signify the spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. Alright, you guys want to guess the letters? Since I already know the phrase. You peered over. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters, and the last had 4. You thought hard about what your first guess should be. So, which letter should we do first? Because I drank some water. No response. Alright. You got 1. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone's turned off the TV downstairs. The TV, it was on earlier, but no one was really watching it, and then everyone started to leave the living room. I know I didn't turn it off, so it still might be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that.
Oh.
Poor show. Playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off into the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed and then opened again with some effort. Can you give me any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well, you rest your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as you could. I remember there was a woman with a long blonde hair. I think she was the one solving the crimes, like a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. You lapsed in silence, the both of you thought, and then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyways.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Me neither, I just saw it. Good guess. Another round came and went. Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted and grimaced. I feel so sticky. Ugh. I feel like I'm going to be stuck to this floor forever. I have to charge you rent then. You could be my new roomie. Looks like we're both stuck here forever. I'm sticky too. No way, I'll peel you off if I have to.
You're right.
Even when we're old and gray, we'll still be lying right here. Help, I have fallen and I can't get up. Yeah, so we have to accept our fate. You giggled under your breath at the bizarre scenario. Cove cracked a smile as well. You returned to the game. So, can any of you guess what the thing is yet? Yep, that's right. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He peered down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why would people come up with it? Why did they play it? Maybe that's what they had instead of real court trials back then? I always wondered that. I have to look it up later. It's a really old game. Not sure where the name came from. I feel like it's this. The two of you felt silent as you tried to solve the puzzle out a logical answer. Eventually, you decided to just return to the game. Here, that's another one. Maybe. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too. But now you were getting thirsty and you brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I really don't want to get up. Me neither. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes, dropped the issue, defeated. Cove grinning a little at your disappointment over his victory. You're really close. Yeah. You're definitely gonna get it. You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was, but still you had butterflies in your stomach at seeing it. Clear as day on paper. You took in a few words for a moment longer, and then then you looked up at Cove. It's funny. You're so cute. He had trouble meeting your shocked glance. A smile settled awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble.
I mean...
It was all I could think of at the time. You covered your face bashfully. You gave him a playful shove in disbelief. You stayed where you were, unable to move. You fell backwards on the floor from your sitting position. Or you wrapped your arms around him. Oh! Oh! It was instinct. You leaned over and wrapped your arms around him in a hug. You didn't say anything. You're cute, thank you. I can't believe you. Damn, Cove. She's a go-getter. You just let out a small squeak. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. At the moment passed between the two, now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started to feel a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and you saw yourself staring back. I really think you're cute, seriously. Did you mean it? Did you think I'm cute? You didn't say anything. Cove didn't crack a smile or tell you he was joking. He just firmly kept his gaze. Yeah. Finally, he broke eye contact. I heard at some point you were supposed to start liking types of people, guys or girls or whoever.
I don't know.
I really haven't noticed that. Things change, not in a big way, not for everyone, buddy. Maybe I have to grow up more, but at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't gonna keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wish he had continued with what he was saying. With? You shook off the strangeness of the situation, trying to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody. Or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate the thought, if the smile had appeared on his lips at any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He winced, seeming to be mentally kicking himself for saying like that. You had considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? You were starting to have physical attraction in a general way. You only seem to have physical attraction in specific cases or situations. You didn't really have physical interest in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. There was only one person you ever had those kinds of feelings for. You started to have romantic feeling or romantic attraction in general way. You only seem to have romantic attraction in specific cases. Kara. You didn't think you could tell if you had interest in people romantically, or there was only person you ever had romantic feelings for. But specifically when it came to how you feel about boys, you found them attractive and you thought you'd be happy with a guy someday. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being a guy. You weren't physically interested, but you're happy of having a romantic relationship with a guy. You generally weren't interested in guys, but there were special exceptions. How you felt during your... I'm dying. Oh god. You found them attractive and you thought you would be happy with a girl someday. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with a girl. You weren't physically interested, but you could be happily romantic interested. you weren't interested in girls. You generally weren't interested in girls, but there were special exceptions. For the people who aren't exclusively female or male. Oh no! So generally it's the same thing. I think it's just like asking about how you feel about people, so I'm just gonna... You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you feel to Cove, or I'd rather not talk about it. Sure, I'll explain it. He intently listened, taking in every word you conveyed. You tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned about having special interest in romantic relationships. And then he scratched the back of his head sheepishly. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about this when we started up playing Hangman. You started with it. But it was good, I think. You think so too? You shrugged. It was awkward. The conversation had a mind of its own. You think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you written anything new recently? Yeah, actually. I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a light turn after that. It felt like you had gotten closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the cool air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor as Cove did. With some minor complaints, you both stretched your arms, groaning and yawning into your hands. You both looked out the window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow, you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. One piece! Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is in here now. Sounds good. I could really use the fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water and then continued on your way. You stepped outside, one after another, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of the day it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind. The petals trembled, but ceremony held in there. Yeah. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin as you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. You do too? You do? That's surprising, you said as a joke. Your opinion has changed since you were on the first hill. You're probably Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced in the wind. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke again. I'm glad I met you, Sophia. You're really important to me, you know. You blushed at the statement. I have felt the same. That was so nice of you to say. You smiled silently. You're being too sweet. You're special to me, Cove. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he heard you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without a word. Oh no! Even as the sun disappeared completely, the sky darkened. You and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Oh no. We held hands. Birthday. Oh, it's the birthday party! It was a pleasant afternoon. The sun shone brightly and the breeze tugged lightly at the balloon streams around the park. You and Cove had been dropped off at Miranda Kurt's birthday party. You didn't really know Miranda. Last year was the first time you had a class with her, and everyone at the school knew her as quiet and the shy kid that stuck to her own friend group like glue. It had been a surprise that she was having such a big party. You looked around the expansive park, a special recreation center in the town over, and noticed the bouncy castle. Miranda had a bit of a reputation for not caring if she acted mature like the other teens sometimes did. It was a certain amount of sense that her party would match that. You thought Miranda was sweet, you thought Miranda was weird, you didn't have any opinions of Miranda yet. You wanted to get to know Miranda better. Just because I know. You have always gotten the vibe that she was nice and invited you to her party proved it. You liked that she wasn't obsessed with proving that she was grown up. Maybe hanging out today would be fun. You hadn't had a choice in coming here because your moms insisted after you got the invitation, as did Cove's mom and dad. So both you and he were driven over to the next town with presents in tow. All the parents had been pretty firm about going to the party if you have been invited. You agreed it was best to attend. You wondered if it was an adult thing. You were happy to be here. You wished you were somewhere else. You felt out of place. You're willing to give it a chance. Yeah. It was only polite to go to Miranda's party. Your moms were happy with your attitude as well. Okay. Oh, it's making a weird face. Cove made a small noise which caught your attention. He looked around, scanning the area. He fidgeted with his gift in hand.
So...
Any idea what we're supposed to do with these? You looked at your own present and then towards the seating area. There was a table with snacks and drinks, various supplies for the various party games. All past that, you spotted one table in the back that seemed to have a truckload of gifts, and you pointed it out to Cove. Let's drop the presents off over there. Cove nodded with a smile and turned to where you gestured and he saw it too. Cool. You and Cove began to walk over to the present table, flattening the well-trimmed grass beneath your feet. You walked past groups of people, classmates in a semicircle, broken up into the usual friend groups chatting away. You, or maybe Cove, received the occasional greeting or a friendly nod. However, as you passed by even more people that you had never seen before, you became aware that there were most strangers here than not. That sucks. Sometimes going to a birthday party and then you know no one, half the time I'm just sitting in a corner I'm just gonna eat food and do whatever. As you passed by, I read that. It was more crowded than you expected. Miranda, the quiet girl, was hosting the most popular birthday party you have been in a long time. You looked at the new faces and thought you saw something of Miranda in them. Cousins, nieces, nephew, maybe. The party could be a big deal in her family. The both of you reached the table, setting your gifts down in an empty space. Brushing some confetti aside, Cove had placed his gently next to it. But then he looked at the present thoughtfully. Hey, what did you get her? Before you had a chance to answer, Cove opened his mouth again and tapped his gift. I found this sparkly backpack and I figured she could use it for school or a trip or something. Your mom's had taken you out shopping and you searched through the store, and ultimately you grabbed out a stuffed animal, grabbed a necklace and a bracelet, found a lighthearted adventurer's book, you chose a yarn craft kit that made a toy. You let your moms pick. Your moms didn't appreciate what you had picked and choose something else. Wow. Stuffed animal. The wide eyes of the otter plushie that called to you. Oh, I have an otter plushie. You weren't sure what it was in the face that made you think of Miranda, but it seemed appropriate. Your mom had agreed that it was a fine present and Ma helped you craft it. You described it to Cove briefly and he had no objections.
Not bad.
He brushed his hands against the side of his pants. I really hope Miranda likes her gift, but I think we both did good. Oh my gosh, my throat. He gave you a sunny grin. You touched the gift one more time and then stepped away. Without the direction of needing to put stuff away, the two of you weren't sure what to do next. You felt a little awkward and Cove shrunk in himself as he looked around. There were more guests heading to the present table, so you turned away and wandered over to a nearby tree where you couldn't be in the way. From there, you both inspected the area, planning the next step. You were glad that Cove had been invited to, at least you had his company in this unfamiliar place. You watched him and he gave you a nervous grin and reassured that you a little with a smile back. What's next? Cove did not appreciate about being put on the spot. He just as unsure as you were. Birthday party stuff? It didn't seem like time for cake. What with people still arriving, nothing else seemed to be organized yet. He had noticed that himself and tried again. We could find Miranda. That was an idea. It made sense to greet the birthday girl. Okay, we can say hello. Wish her a happy birthday. Ask her what she wants people to do.
Sounds good.
At that point, it was decided. Miranda hunt has begun. You wandered around and anytime you saw someone with Miranda's hair color, you got a little closer. But with more than once, it turned out not to be her. Hey, look! Finally, he pointed over to the real Miranda. She was smiling slightly when you both approached, but ducked her head. She seemed a little overwhelmed with being the center of attention today. Oh, look at little Miranda. Hi, Cove. Hi, Sophia. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thanks. I'm really glad you could come.
You all stood awkwardly. Miranda did seem genuinely happy, but there was still a distance between you. This is a great looking party. Thank you. Is there anything we need to do, or should we just hang out?
Oh, well, you can talk to people if you want. There are games that are gonna start soon.
And the bouncy house should be open later. If you feel like jumping, then after that, it's cake present time. We have ice cream too. After that is when people start going home. I hope that's okay with you guys. Copes nodded. He seemed a little more confident about the situation now. Thanks for letting us know. You grinned back at her, and then she nodded back. Miranda waited there, and you became hyper-aware of the silence forming. You heard a shout for Randy, and Mandy brightened up and did a 180 with how stiff she has been with you.
I gotta talk to some more people. Bye!
Just so cute. The birthday girl ran off to her friend, leaving you and Cove with at least a little more idea of what you expect. The both of you glanced at each other wordlessly. All that was left now was finding something to fill the time until activities began. You tried to chat with people around you. You just talked to Cove. You found a quiet spot to sit. You stood around where you were. Hi, Cove. You started talking about how you felt about the birthday party and what you were going to do for your next party, and Cove made an occasional suggestion. The conversation became silly as you started joking about ridiculous party ideas. Cove wanted a moon party, and you wondered if anyone had tried to make a cake big enough to be the party location. Suddenly a loud voice boomed over the crowd. The constant buzzing of conversation dropped as one of the adults, maybe Miranda's dad, asked the kids to gather around because it was game time.
Huh.
I wonder what's gonna happen. You shrugged. You scanned the area for a guess. You made a joke that something wasn't gonna happen. You saw the picture of a donkey hanging on a tree, a table with lots of candy, and even more balloons. I guess we can play pin the tail on the donkey. Doubt it. Then, what do you think that's about? You point to the poster of the tailless donkey, and he shook his head. I've never seen anybody play it in real life. The adults announced that the kids under 10 had the first turn on the bouncy house, and for everyone else, it was time to play pin the tail on the donkey. You called it. Coves raised his eyebrows. He was surprised for sure. You were excited, you thought it was silly, you were weirded out, you were fine with the game, you didn't know how this would go. Fuck it, let's do this! Pin the tail on the donkey sounds like fun. Maybe you could win. You casually stepped up to join the line. The donkey in question was a cartoon poster with big eyes that looked more like ping pong balls. Its position was a few feet on the ground, above the ground on the tree trunk. The teens who arrived first were blindfolded and then spun around He was nudged to the sign away from the other kids so he wouldn't stick someone with the tail instead. Unfortunately for him, he placed the tail on the donkey's head like some kind of bizarre earring. He wouldn't be winning that far from the target. His next opponent did far better by landing it on the donkey's back, and then the spectators clapped politely and then the line moved up. More teens tried their hands at it, some getting closer to others, but no one had gotten it perfect yet. Soon it was Cove's turn. He was blindfolded, spun like the others. At this point, it was a close match and everyone was watching with bated breath. Cove approached the donkey, stuck the tail on without hesitation. Cove stood back, removed the blindfold, and cheered as he saw how close he was. He turned his head over his shoulder and grinned at you. Your turn. You shook your head and stepped out on line. Hell yeah, it's my turn. With the blindfold on, the bright part became utterly dark. As you were spun around, the noises around you seemed to get louder. At least you could tell the direction of the bounty house from the shrieks of the younger kids. You stopped spinning, stepped forward, tail in hand. It was time to give it a stab. Placed it directly in front of you, placed it to the right. You placed it to the left, you reached up, placed it up, you bent down and placed it down. Is this it? I know there's a right answer. You pressed the tail into the target, stepped back, took your blindfold off to check the results. People cheered from behind. You indeed pinned the tail on the donkey, right where the donkey preferred to have their tails be. Hell yeah! You beamed at your accomplishment, and it felt a siege of pride. It was perfect. You looked back at the crowd behind you. Your eyes met Cove's. He was impressed. You got a small thumbs up. Hell yeah! A few more kids had their turns. One girl managed to somehow pin tail on the opposite side of the tree. You were pretty sure it had to be on purpose. With the line empty, the game was finally over, and the adults running things started to inspect the donkey. At this point, the sign was more tails than donkey. However, you were undeniably the winner. Hell yeah. No one could get closer than perfect. After your name was announced, everyone cheered and clapped for you once more. You came to the front and the man gave you a handful of candy. Hell yeah, candy! As prize for victory. Thank you. As you shove the candy into your pocket, Cove walks up to you. Congrats on the win. You were humble about it, you felt bashful about winning, you reveled in the win. I'm not that amazing, it's probably luck. Maybe you'll win the next time.
Sure.
You got really close. He shook his head with a rueful smile. Thanks, Sophia, but it's alright. That was your win. He offered to share the candy with Cove. You want some? His sparkling eyes told you yes. You held out a lollipop, and Cove accepted it carefully. It was mysterious flavor, and you had no idea if you would like it or not. Unwrapped the tree, and it was a pale blue, the translucent green. Cove gave it a tiny lick. What does it taste like? Your victory and berries, I think. You both laughed. Gave him more candy. An older team walked up, tall enough to tower over you and Cove. You felt a little intimidated by the stern-faced teen until she started to speak. Her voice was low, but a lot friendlier than her tough frown would suggest. Hi, I'm handing out party favors. You want one. She showed you party hats and insists that they were the key to a true party mood. She had two options, and either a colorful headband with two tiny party hats arranged almost like ears, a tiara with a star on it. Both were very festive.
It's okay.
No thanks. You knew the teen hadn't actually glared at him, but her default features expression seemed grim. Give me the... You wanted the headband, you picked the crown, you didn't want it. Give me the fucking crown. I'm a princess, bitch. You pointed to the crown and the teen passed it over to you with a stern solemnness of the crowning of monarch. And then you encouraged Cove to pick one. You held a pink headband hat in one hand and the crown in the other. You tried to imagine what they would look like on Cove. You really should try it. It will be great. Cove looked back at the hats and then at you. With a sigh, he grabbed hold of one. The teen with the hats clapped as much as she could with all the hats in her hand. The unknown teenager nodded approval at both of you and then went to pass out more hats to people. You put the party hat on your head with a smile. It fit well. It was surprisingly comfortable. It really completes your look. When did you get so fashionable? You smiled as you readjust your new accessory. I'm a party animal now. Does it look very good on me? Thanks. I don't know why I'm doing this. Thanks. You looked him straight in the eye. He seemed unsure on how to handle that reaction to his statement. He floundered her a bit until he came up with a response. You don't have to brag. He struck a pose and he rolled his eyes. Look at him! He's wearing a crown! Cove finally put his own hat on. He was nervous about it, his face uncertain.
That's,
I don't know how to feel about... I don't know about this. I feel kind of silly. Does it look weird? It looks great on you, Cove. It looks completely perfect. You look silly. You giggle. You shrug. You shook her head now. It looks great. Oh, thanks. He readjusted his hat bashfully. After that, people in charge quickly set up the next game. Teenagers milled about until they were told to find their partners. You try to listen to the rules, training your ears to listen to the adults announcing what you're supposed to do. It was a simple game. One person in the pair would throw a candy while the other person would catch it in their mouth. Ow, my teeth. I just can feel like it being like a hard candy and hitting your teeth. If they caught it, the pair would move on to the next round where everyone would take a step back and the former catcher would become the thrower. The game would continue where the player gets further and further until one set of partners were the only ones left standing, or everyone lost in the round. Half of the guests had already found partners. They were moving fast, and you noticed Cove had his eyes set on you. Could we be partners? Neither of you were familiar with anyone else here, and it was a safe choice to pair up. You agreed? I don't want to play. Hell yeah, let's do this. Let's do this, partner.
cool.
He beamed at you and you started to wonder about your respective candy catching abilities. Two rows of players faced each other, others formed. Okay. Cove tilted his head towards them as you started to head over. Look at this boy. Both lined up directly in front of each other. It took a while to pass out the candy. You were handed a small bag of gummies that smelled strongly fruity. You had noticed that Cove took it upon himself to do a taste test of the red one across from you. They're not bad. Should have waited. You tried one for yourself. Ended up grabbing a purple gummy. It was sweet and you guessed it was supposed to be grape, but it was mostly just really sugary. Then it was time to begin. Cove's row was sharing candies now. No, we're gonna be throwing candies at each other. Cove's row was set to throw first. He smiled nervously, his eyes wide with seriousness. Seriousness? You grinned. Not giving your old man some. Hand over the candy. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, come on. Take a cookie. That's all I can offer you. You grinned and Cove's smile looked more genuine and less filled with tenderness. The game was on. The adult in charge shouted for throwers to go. You and Cove were only a couple feet away and Cove carefully tossed. You caught the candy easily. Like you, most players moved on and there were a few gaps in the row as everyone took a step back. The round was harder with the pairs further apart, but not overly so. It could be done if the both partners tried. You did your best to toss it, you had fun, but still tried. You threw the candy without care, you made sure it missed. Yeah. Well. You carefully plucked the gummy from the bag, you felt its weight, you shifted it in your hand a couple of times for practice, and then you told Cove you were ready. You went with an underhand throw, carefully aiming for Cove's mouth. People can aim? I can't aim. I try to aim and then I'm like completely off. The blue candy arced and landed perfectly in Cove's mouth. He chewed it twice and then smiled widely. You could tell Cove was genuinely pleased to make it through another round. You were happy as well. The next round began, and you took another step back, and Cove was even further now. But he made an okay sign. He was in this to win it. Around you, the once packed rows where players had thinned out some. You were wondering how many rounds everyone had left in them. Cove swung his arm and made eye contact with you. You nodded and the green candy flew towards you. You tried your best to catch it. You casually tried to catch the candy. You refused to have green candy in your mouth. You did not catch it. Yeah. If he wants to win, then yeah. You followed the arc of the candy and opened your mouth wide. It had a slight spin on it, so you tilted your head to the left to compensate. You bit down on the candy, grinning with your victorious catch, and it tasted sweet and vaguely like Slurpee. Yay, Sophia! Cove was thrilled. He was entirely invested in this game at this point. You and Cove were still in the game, and you knew this was the final round, only the few pairs were still left. Cove was determined to win. You could see it in the clutch of his jaw. Jeez. The careful way he watched you. You were charmed by his attitude. You were equally wanted to win. You didn't want to let him down. Thought it was kind of funny. You felt nervous under the pressure. Sure. You liked having a partner that was so into the game. His determination sparked something in you. Admiration? An answer to entering desire to win? You weren't sure. Cove gave you a firm nod and you prepared to throw it. Your fingers grabbed an orange gummy from the bag. It felt solid in your grasp, even if your hand was starting to get sticky from touching all those sugary sweets. Cove leaned his face towards you and bent his knees. He was ready to catch it. Look at this focused boy. The time came. You looked at the candy and then at Cove. You tried your best, you threw it casually, you missed on purpose. Oh my god, that would suck. You tried your best. The candy flew like a missile straight towards him. He positioned himself up effortlessly for it. Cove caught the candy like that. A wide grin spread across his face as he victoriously chomped down on the candy. Yes! Along with the cheer, he jumped up in excitement and pumping one arm. You look to your left and then to your right. You see a few remaining pairs walk away. Commentating over their loss. Okay, what the? With shock, you realize that you and Cove were the only ones who made it that round. You won! You watched a moment as Cove clicked into the same realization. His face was bright like sunshine as he jogged over to close the distance between you. You stepped closer, meeting him halfway. You high-fived, you put an arm around Cove, you jumped into a hug. You ruffled Cove's hair, you nudged him in a friendly way. You smiled at him, fucking hug him. His eyes went big when you realized you were going in for a hug, and he smiled, caught you, hugged you back tightly. You won this together. He giggly stomped his feet in place in front of you as though he couldn't contain his energy. We did it! You adjust the hat that had nearly fallen off through the event. Nice catch! We demolished the competition. Woo! Nice throw! The game runner strolled over, merely giving you both a bunch more candy on top of letting you keep the gummy bags. It was quite the collection. Cove laughed over how much candy the both of you had acquired. Between this game and Pin the Tail Donkey game, you were swimming in sugar now. All the sugar. With a candy toss over, you were gonna need to do something else. You didn't have to wait long. You heard someone in the crowd shout that the bouncy house was officially open to the older kids. You and Cove shared a look. Cove smiled, and you knew he wanted in. I like that Cove has, opened up. We were both like, oh, we don't know what we're doing, and now we're like, fucking yeah, party! You both ran over to the bouncy house, kicked off your shoes, and you crawled into the inflated castle with Cove hot on your heels. There were a couple other teens inside already. You started to feel for bouncing, and Cove hopped in from the middle to the side and back. Just as you landed from a particularly high jump, someone else snuck in. It was the birthday girl herself. Hi, Miranda. Hello. Hi, birthday girl. You waved, you glanced your way. Hi, birthday girl. Miranda looked happy. She waved both her hands at you with a megawatt grin. I hope you're having fun. She hopped around with her hands in front of her like a kangaroo. It was a surprisingly effective way to clear distance in the bouncy house. Then she jumped high, kicking both of her legs to the side, touching the tips of her toes with her finger. Whoa! Miranda hadn't run out of tricks yet. She jumped a couple more times, gaining height before doing a backflip. I can't do a backflip. And then tucking into a wall. She managed to land on her feet, but didn't stick the landing, and she tumbled back and fell on her butt. Cove clapped. Miranda inclined her head almost like a bow as she was back to jumping in no time. You're so good at this. She bounced close enough to the two of you to talk without shouting across the way. Cove bounced slow to accommodate their conversation.
My family gets these every year, and we have a trampoline in the backyard.
You're so lucky, Miranda. That's really cool. I want to do flips. You nod along to the conversation, you clap for her sons. That's really cool. Miranda giggled a bit, and then her eyes sparkled. Hey, I can launch someone if you want. If I jump in front of you, then your bounce will go higher. I think the birthday one will be the last one I do. I'll just finish this up. Okay, launch me. Sure. Miranda leaped over, her excitement clear on her face, and Cove watched with interest. She explained more clearly how this was supposed to work, and you got ready to bounce on her cue. 1, 3, 2, 1. And oh my god, my throat. The moment she came down, you jumped high, and the force of her, just as she said, helped you launch you up. The air rushed past your face, and then you came back down, and your feet hit the bouncing house hard enough to help launch Miranda up a little as well. She giggled some more, and the two of you took turns bouncing each other up. Cove clapped and offered suggestions. It was becoming clear that he wanted a turn too. Miranda invited him to join and try synchronizing to your bounces to launch Cove up super high. The first time resulted in everyone crashing down in a pile of glass. By the 5th attempt, Cove managed to catch some serious airtime. Woo! And we launched someone out of the bouncy house. Boom! You all had fun bouncing around. You twirled, and Miranda did stunts. Cove tried to touch the highest tip of the castle ceiling. You and Cove chatted to Miranda more than you had ever had at school. She truly was the queen of this bouncy castle. Whenever someone did something cool, everyone would cheer. If you fell, everyone would help you up. Eventually, more people wanted to take turns in the bouncy house, so you and Cove left. As you slipped on your shoes, you saw Miranda get drawn into a conversation with a group of adults. She would be talking to them for a while. You and Cove decided to take a break and hydrate. You went to the table to grab some ice water. Cove handed you a party noisemaker he picked up from the same table and blew his and made a funny noise when it unrolled. Cove downed his drink in a couple of gulps. He had gotten pretty into the bouncing after all. Oh, look! You were still sipping on your water when Cove blew his noisemaker again, and then again, and again. It was almost a tune, and you don't recognize any particular melody, but the noisemaker is also his instrument. The noise cut through the hum of the other party guests, loud and noticeable. You asked Cove to stop. You started blowing your own noisemaker. You blew your noisemaker back at Cove. You were amused at Cove's antics. You blew hard enough for it to unravel the paper completely straight and jutted towards Cove, almost tapping his chin. Cove wasn't gonna let that stand. He retaliated by blowing his back at you, nearly touching your nose. It was a game now. Both of you tried to land a light hit on each other. Cove managed to get your chin while you scored right in between his eyes. Aw, he's blushing.
Oh, great. You people again.
Oh, no. No. Do I have a puppy? No, I don't have a puppy. Someone vaguely familiar shouted and you snapped your head to the side, Cove's noisemaker dropping from his mouth. The speaker stepped up and there was no doubt it was Jeremy, that mean boy you met at the start of the summer. You groaned at the sight of him. Oh hey, it's the bowl cut kid. You felt uncomfortable and you didn't know what to do. Want to shove him into a locker? You instantly got angry at his presence. You tried to ignore Jeremy and you tried to be polite. Oh hey, it's the bowl cut kid. Jeremy scowled, told you everything about what he thought of that monker. Why are you here? Cove's tone was defensive. You watched Jeremy's face turn slack as if Cove's question was idiocy above all idiots. Didn't I already explain this? He hadn't, so both of you Cove exchanged a look. Do you have memory loss, or are you really that stupid? Seriously?
I didn't walk here.
My parents brought me. Apparently, I couldn't just stay inside like I wanted to. No, they insisted on giving me out, enjoying the day, have fun on vacation. Blah, 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 blah. He said enjoy the day and have fun on vacation like some people were saying scrub the entire bathroom or listen to an off-key singer for 10 hours. They found a park cause I hate the beach. Too bad I hate parks. Ugh, it's dirty here. Don't they know anything? Oh, and then they saw this stupid party and decided to bother some adults by asking what was going on. They think we could be included. It's moronic. Get it now? That's how my parents are. Annoying and embarrassing. Why would anyone want strangers at their party? Why can't they ever just leave things alone? He huffed loudly. His eyes shot daggers at some grown-ups that presumably were his parents. Yeah, that's really awkward. That doesn't sound very bad. All you do is complain. It sucks to be you. You try to be friendly and welcome Jeremy to the park. You didn't bother responding to... I guess. Yeah, that's really awkward. You don't have to say it back to me, I know. Oh. Jeremy's eyes slipped away from you to take in the rest of the park for a bit. It was awkward. It was possibly he didn't know what to do, but then he spoke again.
So dumb.
How can people really go in these embarrassing party hats? Do you think they're fun or something? How can a human be so dumb? It's kind of a nice to do party stuff. Jeremy scowled, unimpressed, and the expression on his face was nasty as he spoke. I'm not surprised an empty-headed person like you would think that. Jeremy looked you over, completely dismissive. It so rude you couldn't help but feel offended. Ko's face hardened. He seemed more offended than when anyone had actually insulted him personally.
Hey!
Just because you don't know how to be happy doesn't mean no one else does. It's not our fault that if you hate everything. It's not okay for you to take it out on Sophia. She isn't doing anything wrong, you are. Jeremy seemed unfazed by Ko's defense and sniffled. Yeah. Sophia can humiliate herself on her own. She doesn't need you to step in and do it for her. You poured your drink over Jeremy. You pushed Jeremy. You punched Jeremy in the face. You drowned his words in your noisemaker. You stood up, shocked. You teared up. You made sure to thoroughly soak him before he had time to react. He yelped back, snapped at you.
Are you crazy?
Were you drinking that? Ah, are you crazy? Gross. You're a dick. You're ruining someone else's birthday party. I'm going to go find your parents and tell them what it is. What's going on? Don't ever say something like that again. You laughed at his reaction. And you said nothing. You're a dick. People started to watch what was going down. Your argument exactly wasn't quiet at this point. Why don't you leave us alone if we're so awful? Jeremy glared and more and huffed.
Dumbasses.
No talking to you is pointless. He stalked off like last time you saw him, muttering under his breath. Language, child. Cove sighed in relief after Jeremy was gone. He relaxed, but only for a moment. He noticed how much attention he had drawn from other guests. Luckily, it hadn't gone long enough for a real crowd. A concerned adult in a blue shirt approached you and asked who it was and if everyone was alright.
It's okay.
I'm fine. Cove looked at you cautiously and asking just as much as the adult if you were okay. Everything's fine now. You don't have to worry about us. The concerned adult lingered for a few seconds, nodded, and left you alone. Jeremy's fiasco was officially over. Cove rubbed his eyes, clearly ready to put all of that nonsense behind him, and then he started to laugh. It was a surprise laugh breaking out of his chest without an actual joy. It was nervous disbelief and all the complex emotions brought about by one meeting Jeremy. I can't believe it. He spoke in fits and started. You poured your drink on him. The look on his face. You swore at him. You shrugged. He deserved it. You felt a little bad. You were still mad at him. Do you think I did too much? He deserved it. You can't be just saying things and getting away with it. Cove nodded to himself and then continued speaking.
I mean,
I wouldn't want someone to do that to me, but it's not like I can blame you. He's treated us so bad for no reason. I'm pretty sure he will be okay. I bet it won't even change anything for him. Cove paused and then shyly twisted his fingers together, and then a quiet voice he spoke. If you're bad for doing it, 'cause I'm bad, 'cause I kind of liked watching you do it. Sophia. He became bashful, barely able to meet your eyes as he smiled shyly. But only 'cause he deserved it. I wouldn't want that to happen to someone out of nowhere or anything. You felt flattered. You laughed happily over Cove's admiration. You agreed that it was satisfying. You felt bashful. You weren't sure how to feel about it. Do you want to tell your moms about Jeremy, I mean? Are you gonna say what you did back at him? They're probably gonna be nice about it. Maybe they know how to handle someone like that. Cove bit his lip and thought. I'm not gonna tell them anything if you don't. Thanks for asking. You decided to bring it up later. You want to keep this between you and Cove. But let's not. I don't think it would help.
alright.
Okay. You apologize to Cove for making him wear the party hat. Nah. You bent over and picked up the noisemaker that Cove dropped when Jeremy appeared. It might be too dirty to use, but you didn't want to leave it there. He accepted it softly when you offered the little favor back to him. Thanks, Sophia. I like how we can be there for each other. It makes me feel better about that kind of stuff, and when it happens. Yeah. Cove suggested that you find a seat at one of the tables. It was almost cake time, and he wanted to be prepared. It was a good reminder that the party wasn't over yet. There's a free table there. Let's get ready for some cake. You and Cove tried to settle down after the last event. You took seats across from one another at the parks table. There were a few attempts to chat, but mostly part of you simply watched adults run around trying to set up the cake cutting. There was a minor panic when you assumed was Miranda's dad apparently forgot the lighter for the candles, and he and another man went through and asked the other adults for matches or lighters. They weren't having luck until a grin-faced teenager who'd been passing out the party hats pulled out a green lighter out of the ice cream cooler. Why had the lighter be in the cooler remains a mystery, but the party hat girl found it. It was time to get things going again. Miranda sat at the head of the longest table. A large chocolate cake was set in front of her. She lit all 14 candles with the cooler lighter with a big smile. The adults started singing Happy Birthday and the rest of the guests joined in. In the end, Miranda blew out the candles with a dedicated huff, closed her eyes, and you saw her suddenly mouth something. Maybe it was a birthday wish. Miranda cut her own slice, and then then one of the grown-ups took over the cutting the cake. Another adult passed around plates of cake slices with scoops of vanilla ice cream to guests. Eventually, the cake got around to you and Cove. Cove was pleasant in the treat in general, and the cake looked rich and moist. Moist! It smelled quite chocolatey. You only wanted to eat the ice cream, you only wanted the cake, you wanted both the cake and the ice cream, you didn't want anything on your plate. Give me fucking both! Oh god, I kinda want chocolate cake now. You took a bite of ice cream. The vanilla wasn't bad, it was a little bland. Excuse me? The chocolate cake, however, was a rich flavor. Cove took his fork and started mashing up some part of his cake. With the cake resembling a pile of crumpled chunks, he started mixing it into the ice cream. The melted part of the ice cream became like a chocolate cake soup. It's a chocolate cake shake! You raised your eyebrow. You told him you do the same thing. You thought it looked gross. I've never done that. I want to now. How does it taste? Really good. It's better with brownies. He grinned and took a bite of his own mix. Cove contently chowed down his concoction. One advantage to his mix was the ice cream seemed to catch most of the crumbs that would usually fall from eating cake. Unlike the other kids around him, Cove's shirt remained clean. You started eating your dessert in earnest, seemed to enjoy yourself plenty. Cove suddenly put down his fork on his plate, stared up at the sky with a faraway expression. You checked, but you didn't see anything attention-grabbing. This ice cream, it's better than those in cups, you know, the little wooden spoons. But I kinda want that instead. Aww. You remember what kind he was talking about? Oh yeah, like the ones handed out at the barbecue before the fireworks happened.
Right.
Cove smiled nostalgically at the thought. You could picture a younger Cove for a moment with the same look in his eye. You offered him a bite of your dessert. You asked him if you could have a bite. You smiled at the memory. You offered him a bite of your dessert. Do you want any of mine? Cove raised an eyebrow for half a second before the realization came. Laughter burst out of him. Yeah, I remember that part too. You told him you were serious, or you laughed along with him? Really, Cove? Let's share. He rubbed his neck, leaning back in his seat, taken back, even more bashful. I already have some on my plate. It's different. We were kids, and yeah, sorry. It's fine, Cove, I get it. Don't want my cooties, huh? Different? What way? You were a little down on his refuse. I can continue teasing him, or I can just let it go. Sophia. He spoke with a teasier tone as you were testing him. Cove gulped as he looked at you, and then your respected dessert plate. He took a breath, grabbed your fork. Without letting himself hesitate, he took a bite. He smiled. Oh, this boy! Thanks, Cove. Miranda started to open her gift. She systematically attacked the mountain of gifts like a pro. She checked for any cards and read them out loud before opening the gift. She smiled at every present, including the ones you and Cove got her. You were glad the presents were accepted. It took time, but eventually Miranda got through all of the gifts. She was very sweet and polite through all of it. The party went until the sun began to set. By the point most of everything had settled down, people began to leave. Any of the guests whose parents stayed for the party were already gone, except for Miranda's family. Calm dice. Only a few kids still waited for their parents to come get them remained, you and Cove included. Miranda's family were cleaning up as guests neither you or Cove were supposed to help with that. Instead, both had decided to take it easy in the bouncy house castle. It was somewhere out of the way where you could casually wait for your ride. Miranda had been elected to hang out with you. You weren't bouncing anymore. Cove laid on his side with his back to the wall, and Miranda sat across with him with her legs stretched out. You made yourself comfortable. It was nice and warm in the little building, and you felt like you had some privacy, which was nice. You could all speak openly here. Thanks for coming. She looked down and continually shy. It's been really cool getting to hang out with you for a little bit. Thanks for letting me come. I didn't think I would be invited. Thanks from me too, Miranda. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. I'm so happy I could come. You shrugged. You choose not to respond. Thanks from me. Miranda just smiled a little more. Did you notice anything earlier with some people you didn't know show up? She had to think about his question a little bit. Apparently she didn't have an encounter with Jeremy since there was no instant recognition. Never. I heard about something. Some of their parents were talking to mine when their kid came and forced them to leave the park. She tilted her head to the side to find it weird but not important. Then everyone had cake and ice cream. Ko smiled uncomfortably. That's good. He clearly was worried that Jeremy confrontation could have gotten to her. Luckily, it didn't seem anyone had overheard or passed along Jeremy's cruel words. Cove rolled over on his back, slightly content. Miranda seemed confused but wasn't going to push it. You got up, started bouncing again. You laid on your back, closing your eyes to rest. Or you told her about the ordeal. Hell no, I ain't telling her. This is a birthday. You got up and started bouncing again. You clambered to your feet, hopping in place. Miranda lit up. Why was there no option for me to start bouncing, Cove? Lit up and followed your lead. The both of you started leaping around trying to do tricks. Cove sighed, attempting to stay down, but you could see moving the floor jolted him and he wasn't going to get any rest down there. Cove, we can launch you. We're almost bouncing you from over there. I want to see what would happen if we tried it on purpose. Cove agreed, rolling to the center of the bouncy house. You and Miranda took your places on either side, and you started to bounce. It was hard to synchronize your jumps exactly. I ain't in a bouncy house. It's in my basement right now. Once you got your timing down, you could launch Cove a few feet in the air as he remained in a cross-legged position, and all three of you were giggling. Eventually, Cove decided to get up for real and join in the act of jumping. You played played around together until it was time to go home. At the end of the day, you thought it had been quite the party. Alright. Alright, then I'm going to end it there for tonight. Menu. Yep. But thank you all for coming. It was a lot of fun. Great. Thanks for the stream. Yeah. You guys got any suggestions for raids? Not at the moment. Let's see if anyone's playing Our Life, too. The only person on my side is Trash. Is Trash streaming? Oh, there's only one other person. Well, yeah, no. I see him. Oh, no, I don't care. If it's Trash. We can go raid Trash. At least I will be able to do it. But yeah. I vote to raid. But yeah, thank you all for coming to hang out. Wow. I gave you all a thumbs up and I'm like, wait, I have a VTuber thing. But yeah, I hope all of you have a good night. And all the rest, or morning, day. Alright, well, have a lovely day. Good night, everyone.
Alright, let me do that. Sick. Game is being kind of buggy though. I don't know what's happening. It's a raid! Hide everything! Oh my god, thank you so much. Do you see Wolf? Oh my god, wait, Wolfie? Thank you so much for the raid! Oh my god, thank you. We're having some trouble with Dead by Daylight right now, but I really appreciate it. Actually, it's some power players in chat. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? Hey, hello. How was your stream today? Hi. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. I'll just exit out of this and come back. We're playing Dead by
Oh
Daylight
shoot,
tonight.
I need to end my stream.
Our horror game nights. My name is